Welcome everyone, I'm AngloV the Polish guy, and in this video I will test the heavy missile launcher Drake for C2 Wormholes as a follow-up to my previous video. If you haven't watched it yet, check it out from the link in the description. Because of the feedback under my C2 guide, I've decided to test a different approach to the Drake. The main points were that it has bonuses to heavy kinetic missiles, giving it a lot more DPS but at the same time affecting application. The main contributor here is Ranzera over on Reddit, whose feed I'm using here. So, the main change here are heavy missile launchers instead of rapid light launchers. Since the Drake has bonuses to kinetic ones, the damage here is higher, but the application is lower because the explosion radius is much higher. I will show you the consequences of it a little later. In the utility high slot I keep the cloak. In the mid slots there is an adaptive field, 3 large shield extenders, an EM ward amplifier and a target painter. Low slots are identical to last time with 2 shield power relays and 2 ballistic control systems swapped as needed for more tanking. Rigs are T1 core defense field purgers. The drones are also swapped for hobgoblins. In EFT, this feat tanks around 70 PS more while doing 80 more DPS. The cargo is similar with modules for refitting such as salvagers and passive tank modules, along with that some spare drones, cap modules, ammo, scanning equipment, PvP modules, micro warp drive for the cloak MWD trick, and the usual MTU and mobile depot. The scanning for the wormhole I wanted to test this feat in took way longer than last time, taking around an hour. Someone brought up the issue of time efficiency last time and I wanted to tag some about that. In the case of this and the last video, I'm showing a process of exploring wormholes by day tripping, which is operating from known space and going into wormholes only for a few hours without the intention of staying. It isn't really time efficient, since a lot of your work will focus on scanning out the wormhole when you get it, scouting it out for potential threats and setting up safe spots. If the wormhole has a lot of signatures, it can be tedious and take a long time. If you are day tripping, then scanning can take even an hour, and if you plan to stay in there maybe up to 4 hours, then that scanning part takes out a big chunk of your time. That's not even counting the fact that you might not find a suitable wormhole for some time. On the other hand, living in a wormhole gives you a lot more usage of the signatures you scan down. For example, if you scan the hole for an hour, some signatures might still be there the next day for you to use. If you use bookmarks or a service like Sigi, then keeping track of everything will be easier and setting everything up will be a much smaller part of a longer occupation. You will also familiarize yourself with the wormhole you're staying in, which will remove an element of uncertainty. If you're going for efficiency, then I will recommend occupying a wormhole longer term, even for a few days. You will risk being stranded, but in my opinion the reward is worth it. Okay, moving on back to the Drake. My first site this time was an Unsecured Perimeter Transponder Farm data site. From how it went, it's probably the worst site for this feat. This Drake relies on light drones to effectively deal with frigate rats. This isn't an issue if the wave is small, but if it's like this side where the frigates are wave triggers and can't be killed immediately, then the drone aggro becomes a major issue. I have lost all of my drones here, because if a whole wave of frigates shifted aggro onto them, I had no chance of recalling them fast enough. I can kill the frigates with my heavy missiles, but the application isn't the best. I might even say that in some sites it might offset the benefit of additional damage from heavy missiles. On the other hand, the additional range from heavy missiles makes it a lot easier to run sites without additional range modules. Still, the slot for that is used up by the target painter needed to improve the damage application. In total, this site took me around 50 minutes for 46 million in loot and salvage. After getting some more drones from HiSec, I decided to do a perimeter hangar anomaly. This site only has 2 frigates, so it should be fairly easy to do without having any issues with drone aggro. Initially, I had to change my position because of the range. After getting closer, the site went by quite well. At the end of the site I had to get into a better position because the battleship rat orbits only slightly beyond my range. I would recommend getting a guidance computer just to get more range for situations like that. So, deciding that it was enough of a test, I went back to HiSec. Some people were flying around the wormhole I was in, so I didn't feel like staying much longer. In my opinion, the HML fit is great for sites that don't have many frigates, but it's also harder to fly than the Rapid Light version. For beginners, I would advise to try the Rapid Light fit first, since it doesn't have that many issues with relying on drones and application. It might go even better in Magnetar wormholes, where the damage is raised, but the application is slightly diminished. It also doesn't need any more skills if you end up from light launchers. Anyway, try both fits and see what works best for you. I can't decide what to use for your particular skill set and experience. Anyway, feel free to discuss the topic in the video comments if you have any input to what I have said. Thanks again to everyone who commented under the last video with their ideas. For all the useful resources and feeds, look in the description. Remember to comment with what you want me to cover next. Right now I'm slowly working towards expanding the content on this channel into Kerbal Space Program, but how that will go we'll have to see. Okay, that's it from me today, see you next time.